So it is Saturday night. I am alone. Tomorrow is Easter and everyone abandoned me. Um, my parents went to the beach and my sister went to visit my brother and my boyfriend is like sick or something. So I am home alone cooking myself hot dogs on the stove. I'm excited. I have not had hot dogs. Well, I say I've not had hot dogs until like last week. I had not had hot dogs in years, like many years. Um, because like they're gross. When you start to think about what they are and like what's in them, they're really gross, and I kind of stopped eating them when I was a teenager because I realized that, and I was like, this is not something I want to put in my body or my mouth or anything. Like, it's gross. And veggie dogs also usually very gross. And my boyfriend found these. They're like Light Life Smart Dogs, I think they're called, and they're good. Like, they don't taste exactly like hot dogs. Like, they're definitely the veggie version, but they're good veggie version. Only you can't cook them in the microwave. I tried earlier, like a couple hours ago, to cook them in the microwave. I cooked like one, and I was like, ooh, it's not that good. Like, this tastes very fake meat. But I'm super happy because I love hot dogs, and now I can have hot dogs without putting disgusting things in my body. Because, like, even if you eat meat, which, like, I don't really, I kind of stopped a while ago. But, like, even if you do eat meat, hot dogs are gross. Like, I stopped eating hot dogs long before I stopped eating meat because they're just, like, a horrifying thing. But, oh, I'm so happy. And, yeah, you probably can't hear me at all over, like, the sizzling, but I'm so happy. Today was meant to be a somewhat productive day, but my cat has decided to be the most snuggly creature in the world today. It is 6 p.m. and she's been in my lap since noon. Maybe before, because like when I woke up, she was in my lap. So I just haven't moved all day because this precious little angel, this angel baby. Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I disturb you? Go back to sleep. She just wants to cuddle. She left for about 20 seconds a while ago, but I think she just wanted to like stretch her legs and reposition. But it's so cute, even though I meant to like do cleaning things and I have to make myself food at some point. She's adorable. Like, all she wants is love. Everyone else left, so I think she feels a little bit abandoned and she's making sure I won't leave her too. But it's so sweet. And I finished my Bill Nye audiobook since that's like all I can do. Like, I can do stuff on my computer because that's like right here, but I kind of can't because like I can't really type because I have to like turn my whole torso in order to be able to type, and she's like in my lap, so it's an uncomfortable position. So I finished my Bill Nye audiobook and I wanted to like that more than I did. I wanted to learn more from it than I did. I think overall, like, I did gain some good ideas, like general knowledge, but a lot of the specifics and like most of the things he said were just like way over my head. So that was kind of disappointing. And now I'm starting Mara Wilson's audiobook, Where Am I Now? Which is kind of just like about her life, and it's kind of interesting, and I don't know. I really don't care too much, but like I kind of just downloaded a few like celebrity audiobooks the other week, which is why I listened to like Eddie Izzard and Bill Nye and now Mara Wilson. I was gonna listen to Betty White's and then I was like, pass, because I just don't care that much. But I don't know, because I mostly use audiobooks for rereads, but I feel like for celebrity memoirs that I don't care too much about, they might be decent. The Bill Nye book was maybe a mistake, but I'm gonna listen to like his next one too. It's on hold. But yeah, that has been my day. And the kitty does not wish to move at all. She's just napping. I wish I could nap all day too, but sadly, I cannot. It is Friday night or Saturday morning. I don't know that I've actually vlogged since like Sunday, so this might be a short vlog, or there might just not be a vlog this week. I don't know. But I've been in a weird reading mood. Like, this entire month, I've been reading a lot, but reading like, I don't want to say easy things because that sounds like offensive, because I have been enjoying a lot of what I've been reading, but it's like I shy away from books that I personally would find more difficult. and not more difficult. That was my cat sneezing. Not more difficult, like, in a bad way, just more difficult, like, I don't feel like I'm currently intelligent enough to read those books, and I don't know why, because I still have intelligent thoughts about the books I'm reading that are like a lot of YA books, some fantasy, like some easier things for me, like rereads. And I've been having intelligent thoughts about those, so I don't know why I suddenly think that would go away when I read something like that's a little more like literary fiction or like adult stuff. Like, I don't know. And I read A Thousand Splendid Suns, and like that was fine. I had critical thoughts about that, and I don't know. So instead of picking up If Beale Street Could Talk, I am reading when I'm reading Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by Caitlin Doughty. I'm not really liking it, to be honest. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not very far in, let's be real. So I still have a lot to go, and maybe it'll get better. But it does kind of feel like she's a little bit preachy. Like, she has her idea of what is the best way to, what's the correct word? Deal with death? Like, she has an idea of what's the best way to do that, and any other way is just not as good as that way. And it's, like, kind of cringe, because I don't necessarily agree with her. But mostly, I think my main problem is just that, like, our personalities kind of clash. And this book is, like, mostly her personality, and just, like, her being funny, and, like, I don't want to say cutesy, but, like, it's, like, her being her, and just, like, talking about her life, but mostly, like, it's about her. And because my personality is kind of clashing with her personality, and I'm not enjoying that aspect of it, it's a lot to not like. So, I don't know, I'm kind of struggling with that, and, like, I haven't finished anything in a few days because of that. But I do really need to pick up If Beale Street Could Talk, because that's due in, like, a week and a half, and I can't renew it, because it's got, like, a bunch of holds at the library. So, I don't know, like, I hear amazing things about that book, and I'm so down to read it. I'm just like, oh no, what if I'm not smart enough to understand it? While I sit here, like, analyzing other books. So, I don't know. It's just been, like, this weird mood I'm in, and I really just need to get out of it, and just, like, read what I need to read, because at this point I have a bunch of books that are due at the library really soon that I really need to get through. So today was a car service kind of day, which was a blast. You know, that's always super fun. But I took If Beale Street Could Talk, and I got through like 2/3 of it, maybe. It's really good. I kind of wish I hadn't just like sat down and read that much of it in one sitting, because it's kind of one of those books that I'd have been down to read slower, but now that I'm like almost done, I'll probably just finish it like tomorrow. But it's really good. I'm really enjoying this. It's really well done, which I don't think should surprise anyone. It's the first James Baldwin thing I've ever read, so it is good. And yeah, and then I stopped by the library, which is where I am now. You can kind of see the building in the background. Picked up 2 books I had on hold that had been on hold for a while, so it's not like I just grabbed new things. I got Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which everyone talks about, everyone loves. It's shorter than I thought it would be, which I'm down with, because I didn't really want to read like a 500-page book, and this is like 350-ish. But my book club, the Literary Alliance book club on Facebook, that's hosted by Kylie Graham and other people, they are reading this month, so down for this. Not sure how I'm gonna feel about it, because it's not like the kind of thing I would ordinarily pick up, but down. And then the one that I'm actually excited about, and that I've been on hold for literal ages, is Never Tell by Lisa Gardner. This is her new book. There's always a huge wait list for this book at the library, and I just was casually on it for a few months, and now it's finally in, and I'm excited. It's like, I don't know, I figure I'm gonna like it. Like, I probably won't love it, but this is probably gonna be like a solid 4-star, like, that was fun read for me. I'm hoping. I haven't got a clue what it's about, honestly. Like, literally not a clue. I was just like, oh, it's Lisa Gardner's new book. Let's pick it up. Because I got super into her last year. But apparently it's like a woman who kills her husband. Maybe. Yeah. A pregnant woman whose husband is dead. And everyone thinks she did it, because she probably did. But I don't know. I'm very excited. Like, I know these are not like great books. They're not super well written, but they're just like fun. And they're fun in that kind of like fun, easy way where you don't really spend a whole lot of time thinking about them. They're just like enjoyable. So, yeah. I'm pleased and I'm very excited to get to this, which I will probably do sometime soon because it's due back at the library and I cannot absolutely put this on hold. So I am reading If Beale Street Could Talk, which I mentioned earlier. It's still the same day. Well, it's like 1 a.m., which is why the lighting is, crap. Or more crap than usual. But reading this, and it's kind of made me think. Because, not so much about this book in particular, but this book was what made me think of things. And that is the YA genre. Because as someone who reads a fair amount of YA and a fair amount of adult literature, this book reads very much like YA. The main character in this book is a 19-year-old girl, 18 in some sections of the book, because it's like dual timelines, kind of. There are like flashbacks to when she was 18. And it deals a lot with her coming of age and dealing with the fact that her fiance is in prison and accused of a crime he didn't commit. And it's a lot about coming of age and becoming an adult and growing out of your childhood. And it feels very YA. Like, there's some things in this book that are like kind of leaning towards adult because like the sex is rather explicit. But honestly, it does really read like a YA book. And it was kind of making me think, like, what is YA? Like, not that I don't think this on a regular basis, but it's just one of those things that, like, YA is geared towards teens. Usually, like, 12 to 18, I think, is the general, like, age range for YA. The protagonists are usually in about that age range. But there are adult books that also have protagonists in that age range, and then you come into kind of the blurry bits of, like, what makes this an adult book about a teenager or a YA book about a teenager. And a lot of the time, not always, there are definitely some books about teenagers that have a very adult feel, but this one doesn't, at least, like, not to me. And it kind of just seems like a lot of the reasons books about teenagers get classified as adult is because people feel like they have literary value, or, literary value in, like, the very traditional sense. And that literary value kind of excludes them from being YA, like Lord of the Flies, which originally was not YA, or The Catcher in the Rye, or, I don't know, a number of other books that I'm blanking on. Like, this one, because this feels, if I picked this up in high school and it was in the YA section, I wouldn't have blinked an eye. I'd have been like, that's some graphic sex. But honestly, apart from that, like, had I read this in high school and just, like, randomly grabbed it from the YA section, this would have been a lot like what I was reading, because it does deal with a lot of, like, very difficult topics. This girl is growing up in Harlem. She's very poor. She deals with a lot of racism within the city. Her fiance has been accused of a crime that she knows for a fact he didn't commit. She is pregnant and looking at potentially raising a baby on her own as a teenager. And, like, yes, those are very difficult topics, but YA also deals with very difficult topics. Like, not every YA book. Some are, like, cute and fluffy, but I read a lot of hard-hitting YA. That's kind of where I like to chill in the genre. And this reads like them, like, genuinely speaking. And it's kind of like, well, okay, then what makes this adult versus, I'm blanking on a good hard-hitting YA book, but, like, versus, like, one of those that deals with, difficult topics, difficult themes, like Speak by Laurie House Anderson. Like, what makes this adult and not Speak, which also deals with, like, very different themes. Like, I'm not trying to compare the two books because they're incredibly different, but, like, it also deals with, like, themes of rape and coming of age, and there are other books that, like, focus on older protagonists dealing with, like, leaving the home and stuff, which also feel like read very similarly to this. And it's just, like, one of those things where I think about it, and it's not the biggest deal in the world. It's just, like, if publishers because it is publishers, not like, I'm not trying to accuse readers of anything, but if publishers feel like a book has literary merit, literary value, in a way, like it would get classified as like literary fiction or whatever, which I do read. I'm not like, I'm using air quotes to like mean that the words are kind of like vague and condescending towards things that also have a great deal of literary value, just in different ways. They're very narrowly defined within like literature. I lost my train of thought completely. But it's like, if like publishers decide these books have literary value, so we're not going to market them towards teens because teens don't deserve anything of literary value. Or if something is YA, then that means, oh, it has no literary value. And if people think it does, like the Magic Toy Shop, that also reads very much like YA, but it's classified as adult pretty much everywhere. In my library, it is, at least. And that's kind of what I'm judging this by. Like, this was in the adult section. There are a number of things that are in the adult section that, as someone who reads both YA and young adult, they feel young adult, which is not to say that they lack literary value. It just feels like a young adult story that if I had picked this up at like 16 when I was reading mostly YA, this would have fit right in with what I was reading at the time. And it's like interesting to think about. And I'm making this video, I'm making this part of my vlog instead of like a separate video, because I don't feel like doing a bunch of research on YA literature and like planning out my thoughts and having like eloquent, cohesive things to say. I just kind of felt like rambling about it, so I am. But yeah, I don't know. It's like an interesting thing to think about. Because like, this is basically YA. Like, for someone who likes YA and doesn't mind a little bit of graphic sex thrown in, because there is a fair amount of graphic sex in here, but like, I would recommend this to YA readers. Like, not like younger teens, but there are plenty of YA books that I wouldn't recommend towards younger teens, because YA sort of like constitutes a whole lot of things. Like, if someone handed me this and said this is a YA book, I wouldn't have questioned it, because it does feel very much like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about, and now I'm just repeating myself. So that's gonna be it for this ramble. And I am technically gonna finish this on May 1st. I have like 40 pages left, and I'll probably finish this around like 2 a.m. or something. But I really don't care. I just want to include this in my April wrap-up with everything else so that I can return this to the library, because it's due very, very soon. So I have a quick May TBR. I have like 6 things that I'm planning to read in May, so I figured I would add it to this video. 6 is way too many, but I kind of have obligations and things that are out from the library and like other things, so quickly getting into them. The first is for the rereadathon. The prompt for this month is to reread something from a genre you don't read much anymore, so I'm probably going to read like 1 or more Hardy Boys books, as well as 1 or more middle grade historical fiction diaries, just because I loved them as a kid and don't read them much anymore. Don't know which ones. I will probably just pick up something random from my shelf when I feel like it. The second thing that I also don't have with me is Undeniable by Bill Nye. I am listening to the audiobook. I listened to like the first 15 minutes. I listened to his last book, Unstoppable, which was about climate change last month. And this month I decided to go with the one about evolution. I think he only has the 2. I didn't like Unstoppable too much. A lot of his information like went over my head, and it was kind of boring. But I've heard Undeniable is better, and I also feel like I'd probably do better with a book about evolution than a book about climate change. Just like the way my brain works, I feel like that's an easier concept for me to grasp, so I have higher expectations for this one. Then I have the 4 books that I actually have physical copies of. The first is The Girls Are Gone by Michael Brodkorb and Allison Mann. Wow, that screws up the light. This I'm reading with the Crime Scene read-along that's hosted by Cammy's Corner and Joni Reads, where we read a true crime book every other month. This is the pick for May, and super excited for this one. It might be a little slow, just because I know there are a lot of like excerpts from trials and like depositions and newspaper articles, and like, not that I don't think that's gonna be great, because I absolutely love things like that. I just think it might be a little slow for that reason, because it's also like kind of thick, and like you can see like, you can't see, I'm not even gonna pretend, but yeah, really looking forward to this.
And I also have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Creative angles here. This I am reading with the Literary Alliance Book Club over on Facebook. It's hosted by Kylie Graham and some other people, so interested in this. It's not something I would ordinarily pick up on my own. I know it's gotten tons of hype, but it's just like not super my kind of thing, but I don't actually know what it's about. Is this the one where they're in college? I know there's one where they're like in college and it's like villains. But this just is hopefully good, and if not, then it's something interesting and I'm branching out. Then I have Never Tell by Lisa Gardner, which you can see the bookmark in it, but I haven't actually started it. That's just like on the first page to mark my spot. This I'll probably read very soon. I can't renew this from the library. I just picked it up yesterday, but literally can't renew it because it has so many holds on it because it's her new 2019 release. It's a thriller. I don't know what it's about at all, but I do really like Lisa Gardner. She writes a lot of like cop thrillers. If you like generic cop thrillers, highly recommend Lisa Gardner. They're not like the greatest thing ever, but they're usually fun and entertaining and easy reads, and sometimes that's all you want. There are like cuts on the cover, like as part of like the cover design. I think you can kind of see them, or at least some of the more obvious ones. They're like cuts or creases or something, which makes me think this book might include self-harm. Like, I don't know, they might symbolize something else, or they might just be like creative design, but cuts on a book cover usually indicate self-harm, so like I'm going in with that assumption. I don't know why books do that. It's super annoying and cringy, and like I know it's not the author's fault, so like they have no say, so I try not to judge the book based on that, but it is really annoying and unnecessary and kind of cringy. But this, yeah, I just didn't read the description because I was like, I'm gonna read it anyway, so I'd rather just go in being blank. And then the final book on this TBR is The Hate U Give. Wow, that ruins everything. By Angie Thomas. I'm late. I've had this on hold at the library for a minute, and it just came in. This also, like, I don't have any outside obligation to read it. I just can't renew it at the library because it has holds, which is why it took me a while to get. I might also be buddy reading it. Not sure. Have to figure that out, but really looking forward to it. I know her second book like just came out, so I'm way behind, but I'm hoping I love it. It's a little thicker than I expected it to be. I think at some point I might have known how thick it was, but yeah, I must have forgotten because it's kind of a thick book. But looking forward to this. So those are the things I plan to read in May. I also have a stack of other books from the library that I should read, but I'm not putting them on the TBR just because, like, I don't have to. Technically, I can renew them. They all have, like, 2 renewals, so I can renew them all, like, one more time, so I have, like, a month and a half left on them, but these are just, like, the 6 things that I actually do either really need to read or really plan on reading, so that was it, and this is gonna close out the vlog. I kind of just wanted to wait until the 1st so I could post the TBR as well on this, and I will be posting this tonight because today is the 1st. Yes, today is the 1st. I had to check that, and this has been kind of an unnecessarily long vlog, I think. I don't actually remember. It's gone on for like a week and a half, and my YouTube schedule is dead. So I've just given up pretending like I care about my schedule for like the next month or 2. Sometimes you need like a break from the schedule. But yeah, I don't know. Really excited for a lot of these books. A lot of them sound really wonderful, and I'm hoping I have like at least one new surprising 5-star read this month, because I know Vicious, everyone loves Vicious, everyone loves The Hate U Give, so maybe one of them will be 5 stars for me. Here's hoping.